You're moving through wet forest in the dark, and somewhere behind you a person has just seen you. Really seen you, and no one is ever going to believe them. You're a thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger. Officially, you've been dead since 1936. And yet you're the one animal on this island people still swear they see. A shape at the roadside, eyes in a spotlight, gone before the camera comes up. They hunted you off the map for killing sheep. Later, a study would show your jaw was never built for it. Tonight, I'm putting you back into modern Tasmania. The real one, with its roads and its farms and its forgetting. To see what happens when a shape like yours moves through the bush again. Right, let's run it. If you want to see more extinct things put back where they don't belong, you already know the drill. That's all I'll say about it for now. Let's get you born first. You start smaller than a jelly bean. Blind, hairless, barely an animal at all. That's how every one of you begins, because you're a marsupial, not a dog, whatever your face is about to suggest. You haul yourself into your mother's pouch, and here's the first strange thing about you. The pouch opens backwards, toward her tail. Most marsupials face the other way. Yours points to the rear, so that when she runs, nothing spills and nothing snags on the scrub. You spend your first months in there, in the dark, growing into the animal the record barely got to know. Then you're out. And the shape fills in. Sandy brown coat, a long snout, a stiff tail, thick where it meets the body, tapering clean to a point, and it doesn't swing loose like a dog's. It holds, like it was carved on. Across your lower back, the stripes come in, somewhere between 13 and 20 dark bars running over your rump. That's the part people remember. That's the part that named you a tiger. Though you're no more a tiger than the devil screaming in the gully below you is a dog. This is modern Tasmania. Cool. Wet. The kind of cold that sits down in the ground and stays. Around you. Temperate rainforest and wet eucalyptus. Button grass out on the moor. Bare mountains hard above the tree line. You've been dropped into the far northwest. Into the Thylacine, one of the last big stretches of forest with almost nobody in it. Which matters. Because if any shape like yours was ever going to move through this island unseen, it would be here. And the bush doesn't react to you. That's the thing. It's been long enough that the living things here have arranged themselves neatly around your absence. The pademelons graze the clearings at dusk. The devils own the carcasses. Nobody's left holding the job you used to do. So you walk out into a country with a predator-shaped hole in it. Your size, exactly. And it has no idea you're back to fill it. You're hungry. So you go and learn how this works. Field note. The animal you're watching is real. Thylacine cynocephalus, the last survivor of a whole family of marsupial predators and one of the cleanest cases of convergent evolution we have. It looked like a dog. It was not a dog. It arrived at that body from the far side of the mammal tree. How big was it? Here's where we stop guessing. For a century, the textbooks leaned on an average of around 25 to 30 kilos. Then a 2020 reanalysis of dozens of specimens pulled that down hard. Closer to 17 on average, the males a little more, the females less. Only a handful of reliable weights were ever recorded. So the honest answer is a range, roughly 13 to 30 kilos, and a shrug. The record stops at the bones. You hunt at night. That isn't a choice, it's what you are. You come out at dusk, when the pademelons leave the tree line and move into the open to feed, and you learn their timetable before you learn anything else. Because they're the meal. A pademelon is a small, stocky thing, somewhere between 3 and 12 kilos, and once, long ago, your kind ate them by the thousand. They're still here. So common now the farmers cull them. The island quietly kept your dinner stocked the whole time you were gone. Your first hunt teaches you exactly what you are. You don't run it down. You can't, not the way a wolf does, over open ground for kilometers. Your build was never made for the long chase. So you wait. You use the wet forest, the dense stuff, the gullies. You get close in the dark, and you take it in a rush from a few meters out. Ambush, then a short violence. That's your whole game. And then there's your bite. This is the part they got wrong for 100 years. Your jaw opens into a gape that looks like it could take anything. Wide, unnaturally wide. A mouth that seems built for big prey. It isn't. Under real load, on something struggling, your skull can't hold the strain. A study working through the mechanics of that skull found it a weak instrument. Fine for small, agile prey, badly overmatched by anything large. You are not the monster the gape advertises. You're a specialist in things smaller than yourself, which, out here, barely rates as a disappointment, because small is exactly what the bush is full of. So you take pademelons. You take bandicoots when you find them, possums when they come low enough, the odd bird off the ground. You learn the clearings, the fence lines, the places where the forest thins and prey has to cross open ground to feed. You get good at the pause before the strike. Night after night, in the rain, in a cold that never quite lets go. The weather is its own kind of predator here. Tasmania is wet and unbothered by your comfort. But your coat is dense, and you were always an island animal, built for precisely this. The cold doesn't kill you. It just makes every meal matter more. Then, one night, the world you were dropped into shows its teeth. You follow a pademelon to the edge of the trees, and the trees end, and beyond them the ground goes flat and cropped short and wrong. A paddock, a fence, a thin line of wire that means nothing to the pademelon and nothing to you. And then, far off, two hard white lights, moving fast along a black strip of road, throwing a roar out ahead of them. You freeze. Every instinct you own is for the dark and the wet and the close forest, and not one of them has a file for headlights. This is the other Tasmania. The one with roads that kill the devils and the quills in numbers, night after night, without ever meaning to. The one with farms pressed right up against the forest. The one with feral cats hunting the same small prey you need, in the same dark, better suited to the world as it is now than you will ever be. You back into the trees. You let the lights pass. Out here, that counts as a good decision. Field note. Here's the strangest fact about this animal, and it isn't anatomy. People never stopped seeing it. The last confirmed one died in a Hobart Zoo in 1936. And yet, decade after decade, the reports kept coming. A stripe back in the rain, eyes in a torch beam, a shape at the roadside. A 2023 study gathered up more than 1,000 of these sightings and actually tried to model them. Its conclusion was careful. The animal may have hung on in the remote southwest into the 1980s or 90s, and the odds of one still alive today are real, but under 1%. No photo has ever settled it. No body. The record again stops, but the sightings don't. Tonight you make a mistake. A small one. The kind that used to be fatal. The pademelons have moved on to the good grass. The paddock, the cropped green at the forest's edge, where feeding is easy and the cover is thin. Prey is prey. You follow. You come out of the trees low and slow, tail stiff behind you, and you close the gap the way you always do. Metre by metre. Using the dark. There's a farmhouse up the rise. A single light on in a window. You don't have a file for that either. But the pademelon is 30 meters out and dropping its head to feed, and everything in you is pointed at it. You settle into the pause before the strike. And that's when the yard light comes on, white, sudden, the whole paddock flattened in it. And on the step of the house, a person, still, staring. One hand coming up slow, the way people do when they can't trust their own eyes. For a second, nothing moves. Not you, not them. The pademelon bolts and you don't even track it. Because you are being looked at. Properly. The stripes lit clean across your back, the long snout, the stiff tail. Every field mark, held in the light, in front of a human being who is going to spend the rest of their life telling this story and being laughed at for it. This is the moment the whole legend is made of. Not a monster. Not an attack. Just a striped shape at the edge of a farm, seen for 3 seconds too long. And here's what the person doesn't know. 100 years ago, this exact scene ended differently. A shape like yours, at the edge of a paddock, near the livestock, that was a death sentence. There was a bounty on you. Men were paid to make sure this precise picture, tiger, fence, farm, never resolved into a living animal again. You'd have been shot for standing where you're standing now. Tonight, the person just stares. Then you move. Not a panic, a decision. You turn, and the stiff tail swings you back toward the dark. And 3 strides later, the forest takes you, and the yard light is behind you, and the story is already loose in the world. The person will get a phone up too late. They always do. The photo will be a blur, or nothing at all. You've just done the one thing your species has done best for 90 years. You were seen, and you got away clean before anyone could prove it. Out here, that barely rates as an escape. For you, it's the entire survival strategy. Here's the cold part. The animal you just watched slip into the trees isn't out there. The bounty worked. Between the paid hunters, the vanishing prey, and something like a disease moving through the last of them, they were gone from the wild before most people noticed. The final one died in a cage in 1936. It was killed in large part for raiding livestock by a jaw a later study showed was too weak to bring down a sheep. Executed for a crime it couldn't physically commit. Now there's a lab with a near-complete genome, rebuilt from a 100-year-old head, promising a return in years, not decades. Maybe. The experts are still arguing about whether the thing they'd make would even be this animal, or just a shape wearing its stripes. Either way, the bush still has the hole. Your size, exactly. Still empty. That's the sim. I'll see you in the next one. Drop the next creature in the comments. The one you want put back where it doesn't belong. Top one with the most replies gets dropped into Australia next week. I've got the map open. I just need to know where you want the next hole filled.